Hello and happy June. As a homeschool mom, I'm super excited to get into summer and summer break. Hopefully read a little more, maybe write a little more, spend lots of time outside with my kids. So May has been an interesting reading month for me. Top of the month, book that I was excited to try. I don't even have to hold up to show you because in addition to DNFing it, I have already unhauled it and don't have it on my shelves anywhere anymore. And that is Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. It was a series that I was excited to find the first couple books of. I was excited to try it. The premise sounded promising. And then when I tried reading it, I was not only disappointed. I've had a couple other books that were more on the disappointing side this year. I was really upset by it. It just made me mad. The whole point of writing that book, to my understanding, was to prove that the ideas you come up with aren't the important part. The important part is the execution. How well do you put your story together and tell your story? I won't say that Jim Butcher is a bad writer or bad author. The storytelling was not bad, but the representation of women and how the women were treated was atrocious and has turned me off from reading any Jim Butcher book in the future. I don't think I need to say anymore. That book has its own video, but it was a frustrating way to start the month. I read half of it and then put it down and picked up an ARC that I was sent. Also one that I don't have a physical copy of to hold up because I was sent an e-file to read on my Kindle app. And that is Dreams of the Fallen by A.S. Colworth. Colworth has only a couple of books out. This one is brand new, self-published. So being an earlier work in the author's career, there are just little things that I think he will get better at, specifically writing dialogue. But Dreams of the Fallen had a very strong Roman legion influence and inspiration, and coming right off of Furies of Calderon, which was also supposed to have a strong Roman legion influence, but one that made me angry. I picked up Dreams of the Fallen and I was still getting that Roman legion flavor of fantasy without the sexism that was frustrating me so much in the Furies of Calderon. And Dreams of the Fallen, probably the only similarity that it even has to Furies of Calderon is that Roman inspiration. Otherwise, to me, it read a lot like a Magic the Gathering story. The world it was set in, the non-human races, the magic, definitely more plot-driven than character-driven, which was fine. I did start to read it, decide that I was still in the mood for my Wheel of Time book, and then I came back to it. And I probably should have read it sooner so that my review was out before the book was out, but it was pretty close. I did enjoy it. I'll put a link to it in the description so you can go support a newer upcoming author. And speaking of Wheel of Time, I've been still going between the audiobook and reading the physical book. I am much farther now. I'm filming this video in the last week of May, so I may or may not finish this week. It might be a beginning of June, wrapping it up kind of book, which is fine. The Wheel of Time is a slow journey, and I'm taking it slow, but book 8 is over halfway. And then, right after finishing Dreams of the Fallen, I got a book in the mail that I totally impulse bought. I was looking at something else on Amazon. This book got advertised to me, and I bought it because it was beautiful. There was a limited time special edition of Shield of Sparrows by Tiffany Perry. I had never heard of this author. I had never seen this book. This one is also new. This just came out at the beginning of May. So it's pretty new. I don't think it's been making the rounds of social media as much yet. Although to be fair, I don't necessarily follow the accounts that really review romantasy. And after trying a romantasy, I wouldn't even call the one I read, Gate to Kagoshima, I wouldn't classify that one as a romantasy, but I was trying a romance, and that one I was disappointed with, and so I still felt in the mood to try a romance. And this one, even being out for less than a month, had a lot of ratings, just in general, and it was very highly rated. So between the high star rating, the beauty of the cover, I decided to give it a try. And over Memorial Day weekend, having a little extra time, I was able to get pretty far in it. I already only have about 100 pages left, and I have really been enjoying it. It is probably exactly what you would expect from a romantasy. It has a lot of the romance tropes. It's advertised as for fans of Fourth Wing and A Court of Thorns and Roses. I was not a huge fan of Fourth Wing or A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I know that's just a marketing ploy anyway, and it doesn't even have to have a lot in common with those books to have that comparison for selling it. But this one is a lot more about the romance than about adult bedroom scenes. There has been basically zero spice. There's some jokes, some teasing. A character catches a couple other characters at it, but it doesn't have the camera on a couple, zoomed in on them. So far, if there is in the last 100 pages, I haven't gotten to it yet. And I find myself glad that I gave another romance a try after having a disappointing one. I'm glad I can say that I found a good one. This is an author that has several romance books out already. I don't know that the rest are in the fantasy genre. So as far as fantasy elements go, I think she did a good job of it. I feel like I'm reading a fantasy book that is just mainly focused on the romance part. And even then, it's not even all romance. It's also about the main character going to the neighboring kingdom, whose crown prince she has married, and about the mystery and the intrigue and some of the magical things that are going on. But I'll save other stuff I have to say about it for the review that I plan on doing for it. Especially since by then I'll have finished it and I'll know how it ends. And I'll know if there were any spicy scenes that snuck in at the end. So closing up May, we'll be working on finishing my Wheel of Time book and Shield of Sparrows. And I know that I had said I was trying to put out a Szeth character study from Wind and Truth in May. Basically, I am still working on it, but I have prioritized other parts of my life over that. So it'll come out when it comes out. And TBR for June mostly has one book on it. I lied. Mostly has 2 books on it. First, Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. My husband and my Patreon are doing a read-along. I am hosting this read-along in my Discord, which is for patrons $2 and up. And Discord just feels like a better platform to host it. So that's where that'll be. But with a new Jurassic Park movie coming out in July, it felt like the perfect time to actually read the book, which my husband has read. I never have. And I think I've only read one other Michael Crichton book, Timeline. My understanding is that as far as pacing, it's very similar to Brandon Sanderson, where it can be slow and have lots of buildup for the first part of the book, and then all the action comes in towards the end. We're also watching the first 6 movies leading up to the next one coming out. So we're watching like one a week. And this will finally be another movie adaptation that I can say whether I think the book is better than the movie or not. Probably is. And then the only other book I'm planning on reading in June is another new one that I got that I'm really looking forward to. I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle. The author famously known for The Last Unicorn, which I have not read. And everyone who has commented on this book has basically said The Last Unicorn is better, but this one is still cute. Part of the reason I wanted to read this one was actually less about the author and more about the cover artist. I've been following this artist for a while on Instagram, and I love his art. Pretty much everything he paints I would love to have a copy of. And now I at least have this beautiful cover and the work he's done for this book. It says the cover and end paper artwork are by Justin and Annie Gerard. The Instagram account I follow only says Justin, so that's fun that they're a duo together. So possibly another instance of judging a book or buying a book by the cover. But the one before this one has not disappointed, and I don't think this one's going to disappoint me either. I'm looking forward to trying it. So that's it. That is my start to my summer reading this year. I'll put a link for each of these books in the description and link my Instagram and my Patreon. Thank you, patrons. I appreciate you guys a lot. And I hope you all have a wonderful start to your summer reading as well. Happy reading. Bye.